Hi, everybody. Randy Elgin with Keller Williams Legacy. And today we're continuing the conversation that I started with Dennis Grizzard, owner and founder of Credit Royalty. And today we are talking a bit about how he and his company are different than some of the larger companies that do credit repair. Listen in. So let me kind of dive into your story and what I've experienced with buyers. Now, one of my buyers came to me and said, hey, I hired this company to fix my credit and they charged me an upfront fee. And then every month for the last year and a half, I've been paying them $100. And I, I just don't get it. I mean, my credit score started out really low and it really hasn't come up. And I think I've done everything I can, but it just seems like it's taking forever. I don't feel like I'll ever buy a house. How did you go from a 479 to a 650 in less than 2 months versus a company that's been in business that can't do anything?
I mean, honestly, with the companies, they bring in the clients, the bigger companies, they bring in the clients and they don't explain to them what's going on in the process of their credit repair. So when you look at a credit report and you do like an analysis on a credit report, it shows all the factors of credit that breaks down and what makes up the score. So you have 35% is payment history, 30% is utilization, and then so on and so forth. So it breaks it down to where it makes up 100% of your credit score, right? And what they don't explain to the client is what they need to be doing on their side while the disputes are going on. So what I do that's a little bit different is we'll hop on a call every month with the client, explain to them where they are and the things that they need to be doing in the meantime while I'm working on the negative items on their credit report. Because negative items on the credit report aren't even the largest factor on a credit report.
Hmm.
So things that they can effectively change on their own. Like if I have clients where I've been working on their credit for a couple months and we get all the negative items removed, but they still have all maxed out credit cards. So they
Hmm.
don't see movement in their score. So it's like, hey, let's come up with a plan to where over the next 3 months when I'm working with you, because I work with clients in 3 month increments because I don't want to stretch it out over a year, 2 years, and we're still working. It's like the if I can't get it off in 3 to 6 months, then we need to look at an alternative plan. Maybe we need to look for an option to do a settlement in exchange for a deletion for a negative item that's on the report. Maybe we need to look at a way for you to maybe just pay it off and deal with it being on your report, but it's paid off so it looks a little bit better. There's more options than
Hmm.
just stringing people along for that long. So I'll tell a client like, hey, if you have maxed out credit cards, we need you to put any extra money that you have into those credit cards in order to pay it off as quickly as possible.
Okay.
Every time you pay it off, you'll see that your credit score makes huge jumps. Like if you go from 100% utilization to 30%, 20% utilization, that might be the difference between you jumping up 150 points. And that's without even working with me. So if you is it's really that, and then it's really just making sure that your bills are paid on time. You need to have 2 years straight at least from the last late payment that you had. So the last 30-day late, it needs to be at least 30 or at least 2 years since that late payment in order for it to not negatively impact your credit score. And
Okay.
so I let them know like, hey, we need it on time every month, consistently paying down the principal every single month, and then you'll start to see that incremental growth. And then in the meantime, if I'm taking off collections on my side, you'll see those 30, 40 point jumps every time that those are removed. And then once we meet in the middle at the 3 month mark and everything's paid down, most of the, if not all of the negative items are gone, you should be sitting at about a 700 for a normal credit report.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Um, let's kind of tell me a little bit about the process. Let's say that I refer you somebody, the initial call, are you trying to get them into the system or are you trying to figure out what their situation might be and decide whether your program works for them? How do you go about
Yeah.
deciding that?
So I look at one thing I don't want to do when I'm working with when I'm going to work with a client. We set up a free consultation
Okay.
and we hop on the phone with that client initially. The consultation is usually 10 to 15 minutes where I go over every factor of their credit report, hard inquiries, if they have charge offs, if they have collections, what their payment history looks like, what their utilization looks like. And if a client doesn't have negative items on their credit report, then they don't necessarily have to work with my company. And I'd rather turn down a client and give them the tips that they need in order to improve their own credit, as opposed to them paying me for no reason for me to tell them the same information. So the only thing that I can do is remove negative items and advise them on things to add to their credit report to improve their score. But if they don't have the first part, then they don't really need to go into my program.
So I feel like you're truly here to help the consumer, the general public.
Definitely, definitely. I turn down more money than I make, honestly.
That means we need to find people that can actually need your help and would appreciate your help.
Definitely, definitely.
So I hope you all enjoyed that portion of the interview with Dennis Grizzard, owner and founder of Credit Royalty, as he went through and explained how he and his process and his company are different than what you may have experienced in the past. So if you have any questions, reach out to me, 210-232-2310. Y'all have a great day.